Welcome back to LimQ Plus, everyone. On this channel, I'm 100%ing Breath of the Wild by a bit every day until Tears of the Kingdom, the sequel, comes out, which is today in 121 days. Today, I wanted to catch up with something, and I was actually asking in my video yesterday for some of your ideas about what I should talk about in these videos, as I've almost done 100 of them. But one of you had a good idea that I kind of want to realize today. On my main channel, in the past, I have ranked all weapons and bows in Breath of the Wild. From a speedrunner / expert perspective, if for some reason you stumble upon this specific daily upload randomly, and you don't know me, I have speedrun this game for around 6,000 hours, probably more likely now at this point. Let me double check my profile here. It does say 5,290 here, but that's a little bit wrong because I have multiple profiles, and I also had reset my Switch at one point when I started speedrunning the game, because back in the day I was also speedrunning Mario Odyssey, where you had to basically reset your console to be fast. Looks like I'm missing one specific Korok seed at the back of the mountain here. It's important that I get this one. Yeah, let me go there. But essentially what I want to do today is I want to rank shields. I'm not going to talk about every single shield in the game, because there's so many shields that are just the same shield essentially, maybe with slightly different attributes, right? Some shields are technically metal, so they are prone to get, you know, attract lightning in a thunderstorm. Other shields are wooden, which could be a downside when you're exploring the volcano, because they can burn down. That's obviously true for a bunch of different shields, so I'm not going to talk about each of them, but I do want to talk about the ones that stand out, the ones that I think are particularly bad or good. Starting with the potlet. The funny part about the potlet that I always think back to is that when I was playing the game casually, me and my viewers back then, I had a pretty small stream at the time, were constantly joking about the potlet and the soup ladle, how they're so broken, because obviously they're like meme weapons, right? As it turns out though, the potlet is unironically good. And what makes the potlet so good is obviously how early you can get it, but also how durable it is for how early you can get it. The thing is this, a shield in general in this game is already very powerful. It doesn't matter what shield it is. You need a shield to perform the BLSS, you know, the sliding glitch. You need a shield to shield clip. You need a shield for various different applications in this game. So getting any shield is good. And getting one that's a little bit more durable than the Bokoblin shield, which is the other real option in the early game, is already worth a lot. Recently I've been speedrunning through the DLC of this game. Basically all of the main dungeons and the DLC. And for the most part, you can do this entire speedrun with insane trick density. Like, there is so many different tricks in that run. Also, let me quickly see. I think at this point it's better for me to warp. Okay, yeah, I do need to get the Korok seeds down here. The trick density is incredibly high, yet it's still possible to essentially do this entire run with a single potlet, with some very small exceptions, because you do go up to the volcano, obviously, for Divine Beast Varudania, where your potlet will eventually burn down. But it's actually incredible to me. Also, I just saw that we have 350 Korok seeds. Is that actually true? I guess it makes sense. Wait, that's actually a lot more impressive than I thought. In a 100% speedrun, by the time you have this many Korok seeds, you're basically halfway done, which I guess makes sense looking at the fact that we are 120 days away from Tears of the Kingdom. But that was actually a much higher number than I expected. How many do I have in my inventory here? Like 310, but I did also turn in some of them. So that's actually very impressive to me. Anyway, what was I saying? The potlet is broken. It being obtainable that early into the game is very nice. It lasts a surprisingly long time. And the potlet is a standout shield for me because of speedrunning, okay? The best shield in the game, in my opinion, which isn't as accessible, but still super powerful, is the Radiant Shield. I don't have the Radiant Shield on me right now. Oh, Revali scale only in 4 minutes? That's annoying, because this next Korok seed is so much easier. The Revali scale. You can essentially just activate this race, then Revali scale up and you get it. So I'm gonna have to think of a different way to do it. Maybe go here. Wind bomb up. Turn around. Wait. Wait, I didn't even... Wait, did the timer of the race already run out? Wait, is this one of the races? No, there's no way. Wait, I actually didn't know that there's races that just stop existing if you go too far away. Wow. 6,000 hours in, learn something new. Legit. This is the first time I've ever seen this. And I've done 100% speedruns. I guess because in 100% speedruns we know exactly where we're gonna go. But let me make sure this is real. This is real. Yeah. The race stopped because I was too far away. I did not know this is a thing. Interesting. But yeah, anyway. I'm not even talking about today's topic. The most broken shield, in my opinion, is the Radiant Shield. What makes it so good is that it's the most slick shield. Slick shield means you can shield surf on it very well. Let me see if the game is fine with this angle. Okay, hopefully I can make that work. Looks good. A slick shield is super useful for getting around places like the desert. Even what you see in the background there, the hills in a color. Having a slick shield to get around there is actually pretty useful. So I do recommend the Radiant Shield if you want the best shield possible. It's relatively limited. There is one that respawns over here at the Gerudo Tower. It's in this little, like, there's a little cave. There's a rock that you can push away, and there's a Radiant Shield in here that respawns. It's also inside the shrine and the sandstorm here, which apparently I still have to get. And there's technically one in here where you do the shields, the sand seal race, which I have also not done. I'm just realizing how little I've done in terms of shrines. I still have to get all of those because they're obviously part of the locations. But we will do them when the route has us go there. But yeah, Radiant Shield, limited but great. Highly recommended if you want the best shield. So some people prefer the Ancient Shield, thinking it's more slick. This is not the case. I thought this for a long time too. The Ancient Shield is not better. The only thing that might make it a little bit better is maybe you prefer its looks or the automatic parry ability, where essentially you... oh, no durability here. Where essentially you don't even have to parry when you are holding your shield up against the Guardian laser. Can be useful, but honestly, for me personally, and I know for a bunch of other people, the actual parrying itself is the most satisfying part about parrying or Guardian lasers. So that might even take away something from you. But yeah, that's maybe what speaks for the Guardian Shield, or the Ancient Shield. I don't know if I said Guardian Shield before, it's obviously the Ancient Shield. The other shield that I do want to talk about quickly is the Shield of Mind's Eye. It's actually a surprisingly useful shield. It's a little bit... You get it a little bit earlier into the game when you play casually compared to other shields, like the Radiant Shield, because there's one in here. This shrine, Talo Naik in Kakariko. There's another one down here in Totosa if you want to grab it. Another Shield of Mind's Eye. And what makes it good is that it's a slightly slick shield. It's not as good at shield surfing as, for example, the Radiant Shield, but it is pretty good, especially for getting it early in the game, at least casually. So it does stand out a little bit to me, so I did want to mention that at least real quick. Last but not least, one shield that we do have to talk about. All of the other ones that I'm not going to mention here, like I said, are kind of whatever. None of them really stand out. The Daybreaker that I have right here, for example, is very... cool looking. Yes, the Savage Lionel Shield and the Lionel Shields can do damage. Technically these days with glitches like Weapon Modifier Corruption, you can actually make these shields hit relatively hard, but it's still so much less effective than doing damage with basically anything else, so I can't really recommend them too much. But I guess it's worth mentioning that they have some alternative use. But the one shield that we do have to talk about is obviously the Hylian Shield. The main reason being its amazing durability, which if you use glitches, if you want to use glitches, if you don't want to use glitches, that's already good, because you will have a shield that will... Unless you intentionally blow up a lot of bombs in its face or fail a lot of Guardian parries and stuff like that, it will probably not really break in your normal casual playthrough. If you play the game like a ton, yes, sure, it will break at one point, and then you can technically like rebuy it, which is also great about it, super easy to access. And just always having a shield on you is already worth something. Getting rid of that anxiety that you have casually You know, I'm sure some of you felt the same way when playing casual, where it's like, I don't want to use this weapon because, you know, maybe soon I won't have weapons anymore and then I can't play. And the same is true for shields sometimes. The Hylian shield basically always being there for you, quote unquote, is great, even without glitches. But now, with glitches, what the Hylian shield allows us to do is that we can durability transfer. So we can use the durability from the Hylian shield and transfer it over to, for example, the Radiant shield, which, like I said, is my favorite shield in the game because it's so slick. You can shield surf everywhere with it. And then it essentially is as durable as the Hylian shield. You can then go one step further beyond because for some reason, and I still don't know why this is the case. Actually, let me know if you're as confused by this as me. But with Korok updates, you can get a full page of shields. Why? Why? Like, I do not understand. I guess maybe for some collectors, but you can't even have all shields at the same time. Why would you need 20 shields? I don't know. Especially with the Hylian shield being in game, I guess most casual players have like the Hylian shield and then maybe one like wooden shield that they can use in the thunderstorm, and that's pretty much it. But if you wanted to completely go overboard, you get a Hylian shield, you get a Radiant shield, you transfer the durability from the Hylian shield to the Radiant shield. I'm not going to give you a tutorial, but the way this works essentially is by overloading your inventory, by dropping a bunch of multi-shot bows while you have the while you have the Radiant shield equipped, right? And then when your inventory is overloaded, you equip the... Wait, let me actually... No. For some reason in my mind, I always mess this up. I don't know why. Wait, which shield do you have equipped again? Let me think back to the good old days and 100%. No, you want the thing equipped that you want to transfer durability from. Yeah, that's right. Okay, never mind. You want the Hylian shield equipped. Yeah, you want the Hylian shield equipped. Overload your inventory. Then equip the Radiant shield. In your game, you will still actually have the Hylian shield equipped, but in reality, you actually have the Radiant shield equipped. Then you shield jump once, and that basically rides the durability from the Hylian shield onto the Radiant shield. There we go. And then you have a Radiant shield that's corrupted. You can technically then duplicate, if you have a full shield inventory, that shield 19 times. So you have a Hylian shield and 19 Radiant shields with Hylian shield durability. You will never, ever have to switch your shield again. And if there's ever a thunderstorm, just unequip your shield. And that's how you never have to worry about shields ever again. Again, keep in mind, some people obviously have also different preferences in terms of aesthetics. I do agree that the Savage Lionel shield, for example, looks quite cool. I really like the look of the Forest Dweller shield. Unfortunately, it's not very good and it burns down. But again, at the end of the day, I think the shield, like the guard counter thing of the shield is kind of fake. Like, yes, if you have a really high guard counter, you can technically block every attack in the game. But it's like... You don't ever really have to do that in combat in this game. You can just flurry rush. Or these days with glitches, one-shot every enemy before they can even do an attack. So yeah, the shield rating that I did here is a little bit more limited to mobility than anything, right? Basically, most things I talked about here are how good are shields for getting around the world. But I want to do this anyway. Let me quickly see. I'm looking for a specific Korok seed. That is what I want to get as a good stopping point for the day. It's the one with the boulder. Because we do have this one down here. But there's another one over here, and then we can continue here. Tomorrow, which by the way, is already going to be a teaser. I'm going to talk about things in Breath of the Wild that make me angry. Such as rain, but also a specific Korok seed that we're gonna have to do tomorrow. I don't know if you can see it from here. I don't think quite so. There's gonna be boulders up here and we have to play golf. And I'll talk about all of my frustrations for that specific golf Korok seed tomorrow and some other Korok seeds in general and other things that frustrate me about the game. So if you want, tune back in tomorrow. But for now, that was my rating and brief overview of shields that stand out for me in Breath of the Wild and why. And a bad tutorial about how to duplicate items where I almost forgot how it works myself. But that being said, we are done now with today's episode, 44.58%. And again, I am so surprised that I'm at like 360 Korok seeds, which is not quite half of the Korok seeds, but it's a lot more than I thought. To give you a brief overview, by the way, in terms of the 100% route, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be finishing up Akala here for like the most part, right? Then we are going to go down here into Eldin. And then into Korok Forest, get the shrines that we still have to do out of the ground. In this case, just Dark Chokar. And then from here, make our way into Hyrule Castle, where we'll have to get a bunch of Korok seeds, make our way into Hyrule Fields, etc, etc. This is for the next, like, couple episodes. Well, it's already January 10th. Time has been flying. I know, like I said, my year has started pretty shit. I hope I can move on from that now, and maybe we get a Nintendo Direct soon to make this year a little bit better, at least for me. I hope you guys are having a good start to the year. Thank you so much for watching every day. I really appreciate it. It's very fun for me to be able to at least rant to someone out there. I appreciate you for hanging out, and I will see you tomorrow if you want. Peace.